Evening everybody. Well, as you've realised by now, the rest of the country, as up here in the north, is blowing a bloody gale. It's not too bad out here, my little greenhouse at home. As I say, a little bit breezy outside, so I thought I'd get myself inside and get cracking on a few seeds I've been promising to sow for the last couple of nights. I've just got to take my time. I'm a bit restricted to what I can do and what I cannot do, but as long as I keep my wounds clear with a bit of cloth and just take my time inside the greenhouse, I'm sure I can get a few bits and pieces done. Right, I don't know if you all see me post the other night. Well, Roger dropped us a few tomatoes off from the allotment, from the plot, and this is one of the large Spanish. Now I had been taking seed, so John and Julian, your seeds are on the way. I've sent them in the post. I was a bit surprised at the Gardener's World the other week. Monty on about his tomatoes being a bit poor. Well, he's right in a lot of things that he did say. Blossom end rot. I always put it down to poor watering. A lot of people haven't got the advantages of what we've got. What me and Roger have up the plot is two big tunnels, one big greenhouse, and we can rotate them greenhouses every year, which I'm a great believer in that rotation. Okay, I'm a great believer in that rotation of the crops. What we can do, we can put tomatoes in one year, and the next year we'll follow with root crops such as potatoes. If it's not tomatoes, it's potatoes, it's cabbages, and which brings us on to another point. I've been watching some of the posts lately, and a lot of people are starting to flush their trenches. Now I've had my first big tunnel we built up there. It's now 10 years. I've never had a flush that trench. Main being that once we've had our tomatoes and once we've had our main crop potatoes, we're followed by tomatoes, and then we're followed by cabbage. Now cabbage, I'm a great believer in that as a good cleaner of the soil. We always put a spring cabbage in our polytunnels. As I say, we can rotate them every year, so at least every year there's cabbages, the tomatoes, the potatoes getting put in each section of the tomato or the greenhouse, the polytunnels or the greenhouse. They're getting spread around. Once them cabbages go in, the spring cabbage, which I'm sowing now, they'll be ready for October, end October, and they'll clean that soil out perfect. They'll take out all that extra nutrients, all them salts will all be taken up by the cabbages, and you'll have a nice clean soil to start with the following year. And which brings us back to this point, tomatoes. I'm a great believer in that manure. Once we've had the cabbages in, you'll find that the soil is pretty neutral. There's not much nutrients left in, because after the tomatoes being in and followed by the cabbage have more or less cleaned out. So what we'll do, we'll follow on with a good helping of manure, a good helping of good seaweed. I know everybody's not as fortunate as us living on the coast to get a bit of seaweed, but we'll get lots of seaweed on, and of course a good liming, and that puts us nice and fertile. And then, as I say, we can follow on with whatever crop we want, tomatoes or well, beds are a good 2 foot deep. As I say, plenty of manure, and so it gives you a good humus build up throughout the years, nice and rich. And as I say, I'm a great believer in that tomato plants that can grow a massive root system, go right down, searching out the water, which is another point. If you don't get your watering right on tomatoes, I know a lot of people grow them in pots and tubs and baskets, but you must get your watering correct on your tomatoes. If you let them dry out for a few days and then flush them with a load of water, you're creating your own problems, because the tomato will uptake that, and of course with the skins drying and the heat will split. That's one of the main problems. Your second main problem, or I always think it's one of the worst, is the blossom end rot, and that's just a lack of calcium. That's all down to lack of watering, insufficient watering. As I say, you can kill a plant with kindness. You can overwater them too much. So you must get your watering. You must get your watering correct. With us having the deep beds, we're lucky. We can get our tomatoes in, and if we do happen to miss a day or two, the beds are that deep. There's moisture down below, so the plants can't find them. And what we do once we get into the first and second truss is, if you go back at some of your videos, you'll see that we put a covering of leaves, a good 6-inch covering of leaves right over the whole beds, keeps the moisture in, keeps the weeds out, keeps the moisture in, and it gives a bit of bonus to the plants. but that's where we grow our tomatoes. But if you follow us next year, starting from January, we'll take you right through the tomato season. I haven't done as much this year because of my accident. I do a lot of pruning, a lot of tomato pruning, which is pruning the trusses, small tomatoes. You always get a nice truss with a couple of little scabby tomatoes on that aren't any good for anybody. So I always go around pruning bits and pieces off. Reduce the truss if necessary. The small ones on the end, cut them off, and it makes life a lot easier. But we'll go through all later on. My main objective tonight was to get on here and get your spring cabbage done. I've got about 40 packets of flower seeds, which I'm going to be doing over the next couple of days. Pansies, polyanthus, perennials, all them. Now I did mention on my Facebook page about the seeds. I do 2 or 3 different companies. Now one of the companies I do is Premier Seed online, and that's all you get. No bells and whistles, just no fancy packaging, just a little polythene sachet with a label on the front. Now once you get up to planting and seeding, and you've been doing for a few years, you really don't need these. I always say they're a great guide for anybody just starting up. Got everything on the back there in your seed packet that you need to know. Every now and again I buy packets of seed. I've got a good guide on the back to give you a good guide to when and what time you should be sowing and where to be sowing. Now I always say to people, it's just a guide. Don't go sticking to rigidly to the rules. Depends on what part of the country you're in and what your situation is, heating wise, blah blah blah. But they're a good guide. I always like to use these for a seed count. I've sowed 3 varieties tonight. I've sowed Wheeler's Imperial. Now, as I say, I like to check the packet on the back. There was 450 seeds in here. Marvellous bargain. So I've only sowed half a packet there in a half seed tray. And the rest of them I'll go away for next summer. That's the only time I will keep seed. From year to year I don't get shut them. I usually sow everything out the packet. But with these 450, far too much. I'll sow 200 in that tray and they'll go away, and because Wheeler's Imperial will be a nice cabbage for the summertime. I'll put them to one side and go on to my next ones, which are around here somewhere. And there they are. And these are Sutton's own, and these are the Spring Hero. And they're a nice ball head cabbage, nice round one. Now these are all be going in the polytunnel. As I say, we'll get getting sown today. Within a fortnight I'll be pricking them out, because I'm not stopping these trays so long. Once they're about an inch in height, they'll prick out in small pots, and then they'll sit in small pots for about 4 weeks till they're a nice strong plant, ready for planting out into the polytunnels. And my last one, I grow this every year, which is a nice pointed cabbage, which is Duncan. Now I've got to send away for a different, there's Kings, I'll tell you, they're King seeds, they're Sutton seeds. So I use 2 or 3 companies, which I find different varieties, different leek, different cabbage, and all you've got to do is send away for the catalogue. They're quite good, these companies. They'll send you a nice catalogue, and you can sit and throughout the winter months and browse through. If you're not starting to sow now, you wait until next year. Get your catalogues and get stuck into them. Right, so what I've done, I've got the cabbages in. I've already pre-soaked these trays. The mix I made up last night, I come into here and I mixed a good 4-gallon bucket of multi-purpose compost and half a bucket of good sharp sand. Now we know my mixes. I do this every time for seedlings. Plenty of sharp sand, which acts like a blotting paper, because I sow all my seeds in small trays, and these small trays will be sitting on these big trays here, and all I have to do is come along and water the big trays. And of course we're having the extra sand in, and it acts like a blotting paper, soaks the water up, so everything's getting watered from underneath, which I'm always a great believer in that. One last thing, I've sown the seed on the top there now. I've got the markers in, the old chamomile tea, and I like to just, I put that in spray just so nothing's getting disturbed, and I like to give the seeds in the top of the compost good soaking in chamomile tea. Now the only thing I'll be watching is the weather, because even on a day like this when it's windy, I like to just try and have it open a little bit, because it's 86 and it's 5:30 at night. You know, the temperatures are really astonishing me the last couple of weeks, because they've been up one day and down the next. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 handfuls of multi-purpose compost in sharp sand, and that's going to be mixed with 2 handfuls of perlite. And mix it a nice loose mixture, and just sprinkle it over the top of them. And they'll quite happily sit there for a week or a fortnight before they start popping through. As I say, you get your timing right, you should be okay. I would be planting these, if they were for the garden outside, I would have been planting these about 4 to 5 weeks ago, end of July into August, and have the plants ready for the beginning of September for planting outside, and that gives you time to get them a good root system built up before the heavy weather sets in, before any cold weather sets in. But mine are going to the polytunnel, so I've got that a bit time difference. I can please myself. But as I say, I've sown them tonight. It'll be a fortnight before they come through, which will take me to the end of September, and then they'll go up the allotment. Well, actually, as soon as they break cover, they'll go up the allotment, because it's a bit too warm in here for my liking. There's been a glass greenhouse. Let's get some of this rubbish off the top of them. So there's a cabbage dumping now, and all I've got is just a very light covering of multi-purpose compost sand and a bit of perlite on the top. And one of the main things, once again, light. They must have plenty of light. Once these seedlings start coming through, they want as much light as what they can. So what I've done, I've taken the canopy down from inside the greenhouse here. If you remember, in the spring I always have a bit of extra polythene on the inside here, which acts as a bit of an insulation and keeps the heat in. Well, I'll take that down in the summer, let that full light in. I never put any shade in here, because it's very rarely I have tomatoes in here. I just use it as just a stock house, grow my seeds on, and anything else that comes along. But for the time being, I'm getting them 3 trays in. I was starting to get a bit panicky, because as I say, I can't get up the allotment yet with my injury, so I've just got to try and get as much as I can done. But yeah, that's as I say, that's the seedling. The seedlings are taken. I've started splitting a few tomatoes up, so I've sent a couple of packets of seeds off to different lads. But we'll cover this next year, because there's a lot of people like growing tomatoes, and they start getting a bit panicky about how to do it, when to do it, and as I say, how to look after them. But tomatoes like that, very easy to grow. Very easy to grow. Just to keep the guidelines. We'll give you a few tips next year on how we get some super crops. We'll never fail on our tomatoes, never fail. But what we'll do, we'll give you a few guidelines next year, and we'll take you through it. But for the time being, I'm going to knock off the night, and then I'm going to get back with it tomorrow, because I want to get started on these pansies, perennials, and wallflowers. Now what I'm thinking about these now, they might be a little bit late for sowing outside, so I'm going to sow them inside today, pot them off. By the time they're grown into decent plugs, if it's too cold, I'll not put them outside, but I'll take you through that in the next video. I'll leave them in their plugs into small pots, and I'll probably overwinter them. A nice cool greenhouse, a nice cool polytunnel, plenty of fresh air, but just covered from that frost. And that way they'll just tip over in their pots, and then in the springtime, in March, early April, we'll plant them out then. I know I like to get me pansies and that planted out around about September, October time, but as I say, I've been pushed for time this year. I'm only just starting to get back on my feet now. So that's one advantage we've got. We're having big polytunnels. If you've got a nice cool greenhouse, do what I'm doing tomorrow. Get sowing. Pansies, polyanthus. There's loads of stuff you can put in now. I'm going to start on some hardy annuals. So I'll sow some of them tomorrow in pots. So we'll finish this video off tomorrow on the sowing, and just a few little more tips to do, especially with the perlite, because a lot of the small seeds, they don't like to be prohibited from light. So what we'll do, we'll just sow them on the surface, and we'll just cover them with a bit of perlite, just to anchor them to the soil. but I'll take you through all that tomorrow. But for this evening, before this wind gets any stronger, I'm going to knock off and get upstairs and get this start this video off. Okay, so I'll see you again in the morning. Bye for now. Evening everybody. Well, hopefully I'll get this little video finished tonight. I've waited all day. The sun's been absolutely beautiful here in the northeast. It's been fantastic. Unfortunately it's a bit low in the sky for when I started filming, and so I thought I'd wait until later on tonight. And it's 7:15. It's cooling down rapidly now, but the temperature's still 60. I've just shut the vent down because the wind's starting to pick up a bit. It's not as bad as what it was the other week when I first started this video off, when Storm Alley was passing over, but it is getting a little bit better. So as I say, I've managed to get on tonight and do a bit of watering. That's one of my priorities down here. Always have the watering can handy, nice fresh water out of the house. I never use water out of the butts that's in the garden. Too many pathogens, too many molds, too many diseases floating around in the water. So upstairs, nice can of fresh water, bring it downstairs here, let it warm up, come up with temperature, and as I say, my pots and trays always water from underneath. Now the first part of the video, well, it's just over a week now since Storm Alley passed away, and I got started on planting the spring cabbage. Well, there we are, just on a week now, and they're beautiful. That's just how I like them. They've got plenty of light and nice and moist. As I say, I'm watering from down below, and what I have done, I've given them a good soaking with chamomile tea once they start coming through, once they start breaking the surface, and I do that with all my seeds, whether vegetable, flowers or fruit. I always get a good soaking of chamomile tea, and I just give them that little bit of protection. I know we've got nice fresh compost, we've got good seed, all our trays are nice and clean, but it's just another precaution I always take with my seedlings. As you can see, they're perfect there now. I'll probably let them go on for another 3 or 4 days, and then I'll start potting them off. And before I do that, I'm going to have to go to the allotment. I'm going to get myself on the plot and make a compost mix up. The mix that I use when the seedling mix is always the same. It's just multi-purpose compost and a couple of good handfuls of sharp sand. And then for covering, I use a bit of compost with a couple of handfuls of perlite mixed in with it, and I get a nice light mix just for lightly covering the seeds. As I say, some of the seeds don't need much of a covering, just a very light one, especially the aubrichards, the delphiniums, the Bellis daisy, just a very light cover of compost, and that sets them up just nice. Right, so as I say, I got started through the week after the storm passed over. This is one of the larger trays that I like to use, and these are the wallflower. And if you remember at the beginning of the year, I always like to sow in rows of 3. Just a bit of cane on top of the compost, press it in, so it gives you a little furrow, 3 furrows, and as you can see there's the seedlings coming through there now. So as I explained in the video, what I'm going to do with these, I'm just going to pot them up once they get big enough to handle, prick them off into little bunches, into multi-cell trays, or what I'll be using for myself is trays of 9cm little black pots, which I never own when I want to get my hands on which are these things here. I've got trays for them, so I'll be doing multiple trays of them for family and friends, and whatever's left they'll go off into little cups like these, and they'll just be given away. There's always plenty of seeds left over. As I say, I'm getting most of the polyanthus in, the sweet williams in, the wallflowers are in. I have been putting a couple of perennials in, the lupins. I've put some late lupins in, lupin seed. These are great for growing on. Primroses, they're perennials. The delphiniums are perennials, so you can start on your perennials now if you want. I have made a start on the hardy annuals, but I'll show you that in a minute. This is one of the perennials. I did it in the back end of or the beginning of this year, in the springtime. And these are the white daisy, the Shasta daisy. Now, it was only a free packet I got from one of the gardening papers. I sowed them, and I think I got about 75 seed, and they come up fantastic. I've got 2 trifles outside here, and they're a good hardy perennial. Now, to me, that's a beautiful plant, and it's a perfect time now for planting out. End of September, these will go in the garden, and by next year, you'll get a beautiful flowering plant. Quite easy to sow perennial seed. Get them in, Once they're up and you've got them for life. They're great stuff. Now hardy annuals are a different thing altogether. If you've got them in the garden, what they're going to be doing now is dropping a seed. And some of them, if the soil's warm enough, they'll start growing through. And we're going to just mimic that. We're going to do exactly the same thing with a pot of compost. I like to fill a whole tray up with pots and just open a packet of seed up and just sprinkle a few seeds in each pot. And these are the larkspur, packet of larkspur seed. So there's 24 pots here. Now what will happen with these, once they break surface, they'll come out of here and they'll go straight to the allotment. Even though I have the door open here, I have the window open, it's a little greenhouse, a little glass one, so it does heat up quite a lot in the daytime. Temperatures can get up to 60-70 degrees, which I do want. I just want these growing nice and slowly. Excuse me, because what's going to happen is once they get pricked off, they're going to go up the allotment and they're going to go in a polytunnel, nice and cold, plenty of fresh air, nets down the side, and I'm going to overwinter in there. What I would normally be doing, if it hadn't been for my accident, I would have been sowing these in July, pricking them off at the end of July into August, and they would have been ready for September for planting outside. But with us being a bit behind this year, I've decided just to grow them on as normal. I'll prick them off into seedlings and I'll overwinter them in the polytunnel, and they'll be lovely little strong plants ready for planting out in March time, end of March, beginning of April, and you'll still get a lovely early spring flower. But I'll show you that next season, hopefully when I'm back on my feet and we're ready to go. Loads of stuff you can start sowing now if you want. Nigella, that's another good one. Cornflower, I love the cornflowers. You can do them exactly the same way. Sow them in pots, get them in. Now what I won't be sowing until next month, I've noticed on the plot there's been a few people posting, is the sweet pea. I'm never in a hurry to sow my sweet pea. I always like to leave it until October time. It's still lovely and warm in October. You might think about it, in a cold greenhouse, you know, your temperatures are still getting, you get a little bit of sunshine, and you're still getting a bit warm there from the sunshine, so you don't really need any heat to bring them on. So I like to wait the end of October before I start sowing my seed. Into November and December, when they're just starting to show themselves, keep them nice and cool. In January, once they start growing well with that little bit extra light that you'll get of an evening, prick them out, and by March you'll have a lovely sweet pea plant for planting out. But I will take you through all them stages. As I say, by next year I'm going to be back on my feet again, and we'll do a regular video every fortnight. We've had a couple of new subscribers, so if you have subscribed, thanks very much to you. I hope you're getting something from our channel. And as I say, with having my accident, I had been quite off the plot for long, as you say. Yeah, I couldn't have done any work up on the allotment. Roger's been carrying the weight of the growing season up there for this year, but hopefully we're going to get back next year. But as I said, I've made a good cracking start down here. There's Californian poppies, they're in. The ordinary poppies, just ordinary garden poppies, I sow them now. So as I say, you get a nice strong plant ready for planting out. And I would say that the spring cabbage, I've done 3 trays of them. There's the Duncan, they're absolutely perfect them. I've got a spring hero, which is a nice ball cabbage, and I've got Wheelers Imperial, which is another lovely sweet pointed cabbage. Now all these exactly the same. They're going to be in the polytunnel. They're going to be planted out. When I get up the garden next week, and I'll make a mix up. Now you know the mixes I like to make. It's a 3-2-1 mixture. It's 3 multi-purpose compost. It's 1 of sharp sand, and I always had a bucket full of my own homemade compost from the garden, sieved, add that in, and it gives a bit of feed into the pots for the plants, especially for the sweet peas. The sweet peas will be sown into there, the cabbages will be sown into there, and I've got loads of strawberries up home, up the allotment, which we took the cuttings off. If you've seen the last video, we took the cuttings, Roger's potted them all up into 9cm pots, and they're absolutely fantastic plants, so they're ready to be going into the baskets in about a fortnight's time. So what we'll do when we get up next week, we'll make a mix up, and hopefully I'll take you through all these stages of the different plantings and potting off. Quite easy. If you remember early on in the season, when I was in Shields, I picked up a strawberry, I picked up a basket from Shields. Now these caught my eye. They were hanging in one of the fruiters down those Shields. What caught my eye was the flowers, and lovely pink, but they had a lovely long arm on them, overstretching these baskets. So I thought, well, I'll take a chance on them. So I bought a basket. The basket was only £5, but I had 3 lovely plants in. So of course, what do you do when you get 3 lovely plants and you want to expand? Take rooted cuttings. So I took 4 rooted runners from each plant, and I'm now a dozen young Toscana plants for next year. And what I'll do, I'll get 4 baskets out of them. I'll put 3 in each one, and just trial them, just to see how they go. I know my Victoria strawberries are fantastic. I've had them for 10 years now, and I've yet to find a strawberry that'll beat them. But you never know, one of these days, something will crop up that might be a little bit better, that might tempt us just to change my ways. But this looks promising, but keep watching our videos and we'll keep you updated on how these grow next year. That's Toscana, a nice pink flower, something else out of the ordinary. I've got the mix made up. As I say, I've been busy all week trying to get some seeds and I've done. The greenhouse is absolutely chocker here. I've got 1 tray left here, 1 large tray, so I'll get the nigella done, I'll get the cornflower done tomorrow, and then hopefully by the middle of next week I'll get the compost made up. And what I might do, I might just take these spring cabbage up the allotment, up on the plot, and I might just pot them off up there into small cups. They're going to be sitting in their cups for about 5 weeks till the tomatoes are cleared off. And once the tomatoes are cleared off in the low tunnel, the spring cabbage will go in. So I've got plenty of time. I'm not in much of a hurry for them. It's me little seedlings with spring flower and stuff I'll keep my eye on. And as I say, once they start breaking cover, a good soaking of calamine tea, and that just gives it a little bit of extra protection, hopefully. Now the sun's went right down. It's getting a bit dark there, and the temperature's dropped 5 degrees already. It's down to 55 there now in the last 10 minutes. So I'm hoping that this video is going to turn out alright. As I say, when I was sitting here last week, Storm Ali was passing over. It was blowing a gale. The glass was rattling, so I just made that a quick video, and I thought I'll let that do. Finish it off the night with the seed sown, and then hopefully next week we'll get started on the plot again, and we'll get stuck in up there. I'm just going to give a little turn around on this camera, and this is just for you, Chris Pugh, down in Wales here. That's little Harry, me friend there. If you see him sitting in the corner there, he's a lovely big spider. Give him a rattle and he might wake up. I don't think so though. But these are some of the friends I've got in the greenhouse, just to keep a little eye on them. But unfortunately, I've left me camera mount up the allotment. So what I had to do, I had to make do with a screw top here, and I'm just hoping it's going to turn out alright. I had to do with a screw top, and made a bit of adjustment to that and for a camera mount. But I'm going to finish off at night and get away upstairs and get this video online. There's not been many people watching there because everybody's down in Malvern. Well, if you're in Malvern, good luck to you all. I know there's going to be some great photos and great videos on next week, so that'll keep me busy all week, just watching what everybody else is doing. Hopefully in a year or two's time, when I get myself back to full fitness, I'll get myself down to Malvern one of these years. Chelsea's always been my ambition. Maybe in a couple of years' time. I do retire fully next year, so you never know, the wife might treat us, get us down to Chelsea for a nice weekend. But for the time being, I'm going to leave it for now. As I say, anybody just joining the web page, if you want to join on the plot, which is Jeff Foreman on the plot, and that's on our Facebook page, by all means, send a request, and we'll bring you onto the plot. We're posting every night. People's posting pictures every night, comments. You know, they can keep updated. With videos, they've been very sparse this year, as I say, with having the injury. But hopefully, by the end of this year, I'll get myself back to full fitness, and we'll start doing a video every fortnight, at least every fortnight. And then once in the summer comes on, we'll start doing one on a weekly basis again, and keep you updated on what we're doing in the plot. But for the time being, I'm going to lock up it today. It's getting really dark there now, so I'm hoping this video is going to be okay. But for now, thanks for watching. If you like, well, like we. Better still, subscribe, and we'll see you all again soon. Hopefully next week up on the plot. So bye for now. Okay.